Hello and welcome to day 9 of 21 Days of Presence. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, this is a perfect numerological situation as we're on the 9th of September for a new moon in Virgo and the 9th day of our 21 Days of Presence. So 9 is a number of completion and an ending and a death cycle, preparing for the new. And we have been really feeling this stuck between the old and the new for so long. I mean, it's been years, lifetimes, trying to get this new energy going on planet Earth. And with this, what we're feeling for the last couple of days has been that's bringing up a lot of emotions is this Neptune. The sun has been opposing Neptune and the moon now is opposing Neptune, coming into this new moon today in Virgo. And it's very emotional. When Neptune's involved, especially because Neptune's in Pisces, at home in Pisces, it's about the past. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It represents the past. It represents what from our deeper subconscious and our collective consciousness is holding us back from the past. And so there's been a lot of emotions coming up, and maybe not even from anything viable or makes sense in your life, but feelings of grief and like, why couldn't it be a different way? Grief and regret and just a very, very sensitive energy. This is good because we are going snip, snip to getting rid of this. And, we know that we learn from the past, but to dwell in the past, it keeps us from being able to go into the future. And so this is going to be a big part of the live activation I'm going to do today. And if you can't make the live event, you can always catch the replay, because your intention to join is going to make sure that the words are spoken in a way that, you can receive these channeled messages. I don't plan exactly what's going to come because I am opening it up to being the right messages, the right images, the right vision that you need in your life right now. It's this very specific soul groups that are drawn to this work right now. These are the soul groups that are activating on the planet and being the way showers and the light workers that are the way showers, the first waves. And so you are going through things right now that don't make a lot of sense. Doesn't seem like anybody else is going through them. It's because you are leading the way. And then you're going to understand this process so that when the people around you or the masses or the groups of people you'll be working with go through it, you'll be like, yep, I totally get this, and it's going to be okay, because you can go through this process and know that it's a growth process, and that's good. And it's about getting lighter and freer. But at the time when you're, in order to get lighter and freer, you have to identify the chains and the cages and the places that what has held you back in the past, like belief systems. And in this case, a lot of things that bring up a lot of grief and pain and regret. And so we are going to be examining those today in this meditation and just kind of offering an opportunity to break those chains from the past. We have to go back into the pattern in order to release the pattern. And this is true in any true healing modality. You have to go into the pattern a little bit in order for your body to know how to undo the pattern. And that's what's happening on a massive global level right now. It's like all of a sudden we're stuck in the dark ages. And it's because there's a bunch of unresolved stuff that hasn't been released from the past. And these ties, these energies from the past become like a prison that we keep ourselves in. And this, we all have this, and this is what's been going on in these patterns repeating over and over again. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought I got this one. I thought I healed this one. I can't believe it's back. And that's what's been going on for everybody. And of course, it represents the collective consciousness journey back into the Piscean age, into the dark ages, to release these stories and belief systems that got programmed into our reality. So know that that's why this feels so huge and so big and so impossible sometimes, because you're leading the way for the whole earth, to move through this transition. And so, this is part of the karma of light workers and indigo souls crystal seeds. They feel like they need to bring everyone with them. And so it's a feeling of like trying to carry the whole world up the hill and then it manifests in your own personal issues, and it just feels so huge and so overwhelming, but you're really doing a whole bunch of work for the collective. So thank you. But is that the best use of your skills? Is that really the way to go about this? Because it's draining, it's codependent, it's not healthy. It's putting all the energy that we have, our life force, into the past rather than the future. And so we need to understand that karmically what happens when we break these programmings from the past and these group contracts where we feel responsible for people, a lot of times the message is that actually, you're trying to hold yourself back to bring these people with you, these souls with you, but responsibilities to family, to bloodlines, lineages, and soul groups. But actually the best way to bring them with you is to just go and show them what's possible, right? So do you have permission for that? And that's a lot of what we're moving into with this Venus just now moving into the sign of Scorpio and preparing for its retrograde next month in October. So we can just take a minute here and notice these and pay attention to these regrets and griefs that are coming up to show us where we haven't resolved the past, and reset our vibration to the present moment in order to, it's kind of like we have to understand that these patterns, these sicknesses, this dis-ease of the culture of our whole paradigm, as well as our individual consciousness, are coming up because they're trying to be healed, right? So we've got to jump out of them. We've got to step out of them, see them, and release them. And actively say with your spiritual will that that's not my story anymore. It was my story for a while. All we're doing here on Earth is playing roles. And as light workers, you have been playing a role trying to bring harmony and peace and solutions to this planet when it was not willing to receive. And it's kind of like we're in this trap of thousands of years of kind of this karmic loop of these programming, just playing out again and again and again. And so we have to break by reprogramming our own individual consciousness. That's how we break the chains for ourselves and also demonstrate and bring a new energy into the collective consciousness, a possibility of moving forward. And so take heart, because that's why the whole world right now, the outside reality of where we live, just feels like we've gone back to the dark ages. Like, what's going on? Like we're just like steeped in corruption and lies and confusion and betrayal and horrible, horrible patterns. And it's like, yeah, because we don't get to just kind of gloss over that. And this is what we've all been doing our whole life, right? We're in survival mode. We're just, well, it's okay. I'm just going to pick up and I'm going to move on. I just got to keep going forward, right? And then those parts of ourselves get compensated and hidden and under layers. And what we're doing right now is we're going back and we're cleaning it up. And that's the energy of Virgo. That's why it's like taking advantage of these 21 days, these last 21 days of the sun in Virgo, and just being like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be present. I'm going to pay attention. I am going to go back in time and be willing to rewrite the story of my Earth evolution and be ready for a new story to come in. And that means also rewiring that self-worth and whether or not you deserve it, and cleaning up this programming, this bad software program that we've all been infected with like a virus. And we're like a computer, we need new software. So that's what we're doing right here, right now. So let's just go ahead and take a minute to tap into these energies. And this new moon feels like I'm just seeing this picture of all of these timelines coming in, and it feels really confusing. And this is part of the reason why I decided to do this for myself. But what I felt I needed in this time was that I felt like energies all over the place were pulling at me. And maybe it's like these roles that we've played in past lives and our personalities and our karmic baggage that we haven't cleared all the way. And it's like, whoa, what's going on? Where am I? And and so to be grounded right now, but this new moon, it's pretty interesting place because it looks like all these pathways are coming in, all these timelines are coming in and kind of crisscrossing, and just imagine that. It's like, here you are, and you've been working in what you thought was one consciousness in this deep dimensional reality, but you're actually working on multiple levels, because really we talk about past lives and past experience, and they are something we've already been through, but we don't really have time. Time isn't actually linear like that. So it's very confusing. But if that's true, then we are actually working on parallel lifetimes, and it's kind of like so that's what's happening, is that all these experiences that are unresolved from our past are bleeding through to this present time. And then the incredible frustration of not being able to access in our consciousness where that's coming from. And that's what this work is about. It's like, let's find the root, let's reprogram it and move on, from these like really old patterns that just are getting so old. And it's like the earth, I'm just seeing a picture of the earth is like kind of got this matrix of false reality and these programming and belief systems from this pain of the past. And it's like swelling, and it's about to bust out of this false matrix, and it's like somebody took some, it's almost like the poor little injured earth in our collective consciousness. We're all just so injured from all the trauma that we've gone through on earth. And there's these bandages, covering the wounds and holding it tight. And it's like, it's okay, as long as we just cover the wounds, we can go on and we'll be fine. And it's like, no, we can't anymore. We cannot just cover the wounds and pretend that they're not there. And so the earth is like swelling. It's coming into this activation. It's receiving these messages from our cosmic rays as we move into new areas of the galaxy. And that started happening at 2012. And so it's like, and it's about to just bust out of this false matrix. And it's interesting because the effect of that, even though it's a beautiful thing, if you look at it that way, it's like, yes, but the way it feels as a human on planet Earth feels like everything's falling apart and you're losing everything. You have no idea who you are and what's going on. And so it's pretty, especially being a light worker who's here feeling like you need to lead the way for other people, but not even knowing that that's how you feel. And trying to keep yourself together, and then be there for other people. So it's a little bit overwhelming right now going through the process, but overall it's positive and beautiful. And it's about claiming our true freedom in our earth evolution and claiming back our right to have our free will evolution, and each individually choose to go back to source and get over the big illusion, of all this stuff. And it's interesting because this is that grief that's coming up right now. We really get down to the bottom of this grief that's coming up. It has to do with this illusion of separation, that we're just here alone, dropped off on this planet, and we don't have any support. And actually there's a whole host of levels of angels and guidance and homeworld people that are trying to help us, but it's free will. We got to reach out. We got to say, yep, I'm ready to get over the illusion of separation and know that I'm supported and loved here, and break through the chains and just demand and command this, that this truth, and allow this process to happen. So it's just an incredible, like a reset. It's like when you take your computer back and you get a virus and you go back in time in your computer, a system restore. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with the whole cosmos. And you guys are like doing it, and you don't even know you're doing it, and you're flailing around feeling like you're just, totally worthless in this realm, but actually you're like holding it together. Yikes. Okay. So no wonder everybody's having such an intense time right now in these soul groups, but it's a good thing. And it's like, it's finally happening. We've been waiting for a long time for this to happen. And that's why we're feeling this way. Okay. So let's just tap into this energy of this opportunity on this Virgo new moon. Virgo has this purity of soul. It's about cleaning up and sorting through the garbage and taking the gifts of what's been the harvest of what's been sown. And this is what, in effect, what these soul groups are trying to do in this lifetime on planet Earth, is to claim the soul growth that they have attained over all of their Earth lifetimes in this whole evolution, and claim that. But by claiming that, getting underneath to the true soul, pure soul essence. So in order to be an indigo soul or a light worker or a starseed, you've gone through many, many other evolutions and ascension processes in other dimensions, but perhaps not in such a such a place of steep duality like the planet Earth. But when you came here, you had a purified astral body. That's part of the reason why you got caught into these karmic patterns that pulled you into like a vortex of, how many lifetimes to try to get out of these karmic patterns, because once something was done to you and then you tried to get out of it and had to do something back to protect yourself, and then you're in the karmic loop. It's like a big trap. And the biggest programming, on the big scale, when we really step back and look at it, the biggest programming around that has to do with whether or not you deserve your purity of soul that you came in with. And all these stories are saying that you are all dirty, and we had to kind of get dirty in order to try to pull humanity out of this, but it's not actually who we are. And so it's about, a lot of the indigo process is about claiming this purity of soul that you came in with as a beautiful thing. And it was naive. You were naive, and you got betrayed, and you got manipulated and pulled into these dark scenarios. But back to that sense of self that you had, that brought you into this earth evolution as a light worker, as bringing the light, wanting to be a part of this powerful transition on the planet. And so, we've been programmed with shame around who we are, and we've been told that we can't handle our own power, and we've been told that our power can be destructive. It's going to hurt other people, because a lot of these light workers came in as leaders, and then people followed them, and then maybe things happened to them, persecution, not just to you, but to people who followed you and saw your light. And so, of course, it's like, oh no, I'm never going to do that again. And so this is where we have to just like get through all of the stories, recognize them as stories, rewrite the story, let go of these chains from the past, and claim this purity. Just clean it up. Be willing to sit tight in the moment. Be willing to face how you feel, and allow for this reprogramming. Because as long as we're running and we're keeping those bandages, those wounds hidden, then we can never get to that place. And it sucks. When you take off those wounds, it's like realizing that a person that you really trusted did not have your best interest at heart and totally manipulated you. That's kind of the feeling of looking at these wounds. It's like, oh, that hurts so bad. It hurts so bad that I just had to cover it up for a few lifetimes. And was hoping I never had to go back there. And here we are feeling it, and with no access to the real story. And so that's kind of a cool thing too. We don't really need to know the exact story in order to reprogram and get a new story. So let's go ahead and just tap into this energy of this death process that's bringing new birth, of letting go. And so just take a few deep breaths and feel yourself arrive. There's a lot of energy in the field of the soul groups from everything that we just talked about, and from the energy in the universe. And so kind of feels like riding a very intense wave that could crash down and kill you at any moment, or set you completely free. So let's just go ahead and this is this Neptune energy, Neptune opposite the sun. It's pulling out a true spiritual connection, and also bringing to light all of this delusion from the past age of Pisces. And so let's just go ahead and, just part of the energy I'm seeing right now is that, like, yes, this is all going on, and it's all going on for you, and it's all going on for the collective, but it doesn't change this now moment right here. We can go within and without these stories, and we can just come right here, right now. So just be like, okay, that stuff's going on, and I'm going to be right here for a minute. I'm just going to give myself 5 minutes. That stuff will be there when I get back. A lot of this indigo, the karma of the indigo, they feel great responsibility, and even letting go of the energies of these people you might be working with, your family members on the astral plane, or soul group members, and it just giving yourself 5 minutes of meditation feels selfish. Like, that's in a nutshell some of the distortion around this these soul groups that are activating right now. So just go ahead and give yourself that. Just say, I'm going to take 5 minutes to myself and just be here right now. This is the same self you came into this evolution with. It's the same self you were from the very beginning. It's the same self you'll always be. It's the same part of you that's never died. It can't die. It can only grow and expand and learn and become more light. That's why we're going through all of this. It's not just to be here and be tortured. It's to grow our light. And so just sink into this self, this true self. This is the part of you that never left God or creator or source, whatever word resonates for you, your higher self. And just imagine that I'm kind of seeing this true light of the sun, like this part of you that remembers the central sun, the source energy. And it's this golden light, and it's shining down on you, and it's creating kind of like a spotlight, but it's helping you sort out all the other energies. And just give yourself a minute with source, with your higher self. Don't even worry about whether you deserve it or not. Don't even worry about what's going to happen to everybody else if you let them go for just a minute. It's almost like you guys all have a bunch of 2-year-olds and they're about to run into the street, and you're trying to work with them on the astral plane to, stay in the game. And, in order to really help the game that's happening, you got to get out of the game for a minute. And everything's going to be okay. It'll be right there when you get back. Just give yourself 5 minutes. So just go ahead and pay attention to the base of your spine, seeing this spotlight of sun energy, just like totally focusing on the true light of your soul that you've always been and always will be. It's in alignment with source energy, the one true consciousness that we all are a part of. And just let yourself be there. And anytime a thought or a worry or energies of other people come in, just be like, the light gets stronger, the spotlight gets stronger. It's feeding your auric field, and it's kind of, cleansing out these energies of any other people, any family members, any stories. And it's just like, just let yourself reset for 5 minutes right here in this spotlight. And anything that comes in, just be like, nope, I'll be right back, right? No multitasking right now. There is one thing you need to do, and it's to be with source, be with your source, and be in the light of truth of that. Just let yourself imagine this purified soul that came with such deep desire to be a part of bringing Earth out of this deep duality consciousness into its next evolutionary phase of enlightenment. And just be in that enlightenment. That's who you are. You were told stories about being evil. You were burned as a witch. You were told you were a heretic. You were punished, put into prison for your ideas. Whatever happened to you, it doesn't matter right now, because you're connecting into why you actually bothered doing everything you went through to be here on planet Earth right now. And this is you with source and your higher self right here, right now. And just see that spotlight, and everything that tries to come back in to this aura gets kind of asked to step aside, so it's almost like everything that tries to come into this light and feed on your light. This is a big thing about indigo souls. They allow people to predatory. They have such a big light and they don't know what to do with it. They're probably scared of it, and they let other forces feed on it. And it's like, nope, not for sale right now. This light is just for me. And I'm going to take 5 minutes, and I'm going to be here, and I'm going to reset my vibration to remember this. And so anything that comes your way, just ask it to step aside and let that strengthen the bubble of this light, of this direct connection with source, the sunlight representing the true source, the central sun. Just reset your whole vibration. Go ahead and receive an energetic wave to reset your whole vibrational field. Just that this is all you can do right here for 5 minutes, and you're going to allow yourself this time, and paying attention to the base of your spine, putting down a root system. Wouldn't it be beautiful to share this golden energy with Mother Earth, to remember that you are the pillar between heaven and earth? You're here to work with the energies of the cosmos to transform the physical earth into a light being. So go ahead and just imagine this beautiful root system of light, a pearlescent, effervescent energy of allowing this light to come through your being, and just give it over as a gift to Mother Earth, and share in that union with her of this beautiful energy, and just letting everything else step aside for just right here, right now. And just take a few deep breaths and enjoy each breath, cleansing, purifying, and growing this golden light from the central sun I'm putting a spotlight on you. The gift from the cosmos reminding you of who you really are, who you were before you came, who you will be after you came, and throughout everything you've been through on earth. This has always been here. You just were programmed to forget it and just enjoy. Just imagine your whole body, physical body, energetic field, emotional body, all getting reset. Just receive an energetic wave, and it's just going to reset your whole body to this golden light of pure connection to the source of who you are and the source that you are. Where you came from, where you are, where you always have in your heart, even when you forget. And just remember that through these 21 days, we're building a field of peace and presence that we can come back to easily throughout our day. And so just stay here as long as you'd like, but also remember that this is here for you. And just little moments when you feel you need to, and come back to this golden light and just this being washed over with source energy, and just like completely reminding you of who you really are. And so just go ahead and enjoy this sense of presence and connection for as long as you'd like. And when you're ready, go ahead and complete your meditation. Well, thanks so much for joining me for day 9 of 21 Days of Presence. And maybe I'll see you in a little bit on the live activation. If you can't make it live, go ahead and check the replay if you're called to. And or I'll see you tomorrow on day 10. So until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.